Welcome to the Youth Ministry Policy and Procedure segment of the Safe Sanctuary Training. This presentation covers the following topics: team member qualifications, expectations for team members, safety and security procedures, how to deal with incidents and emergencies, transportation, and how communications are handled. Let's begin with team member qualifications. We ask that volunteers be active members at Lord of Life for at least 6 months before volunteering for youth ministry. Those wishing to work with youth who have not been active at Lord of Life for at least 6 months will need to interview with the youth ministry director or a pastor. Now let's talk about expectations of our team members. Honest and timely communication is a cornerstone of a successful team experience. If you are experiencing any sort of difficulty, such as with the behavior of a specific youth or group of teens, with equipment or materials, or anything else that impacts your experience as a member of the youth team, please bring it to the attention of the Director of Youth Ministry or other Lord of Life staff members. It is important to not let difficult situations fester and grow worse by not addressing them, or by discussing them with people who cannot help resolve them. Group or event leaders and helpers should plan on arriving at least 15 minutes before the start of any scheduled event or program. You will feel more relaxed, and your time will go more smoothly if you are ready and waiting when the youth begin to arrive. As we discussed in the Best Practices section, background checks are an important part of creating a safe sanctuary. All team members 18 years or older will need to give written consent for a background check, which is paid for by Lord of Life. Youth team members are church leaders and role models, and setting a good example through appropriate behavior and language use is critical to our ability to nurture faith and share God's love. Team members will follow the Safe Sanctuary best practices of having at least 3 people in a group, maintaining visibility, and using good touch. Confidentiality is expected of all volunteers. What is shared in a group setting should stay within that group setting, and what is shared in private to a leader, staff member, or volunteer should stay between them. A volunteer may ask a staff member for advice on how to deal with the situation, but they should never talk about something private with other youth. There are, however, a few exceptions. If a youth discusses a desire to harm themselves, such as by cutting, or is having suicidal thoughts, if a youth discusses a desire to harm others, if a youth reveals that someone has harmed them or they are a victim of abuse, if a youth knows someone else who's expressed these things to them, if a youth discusses a leader, volunteer, or staff member who is in violation of the above code of conduct, if a youth discloses any of these points, share them with the youth director as quickly as possible. Do not promise a youth that you will not tell anyone if he or she reports any of these harmful situations. Let's turn now to safe and secure issues. We strive to have 2 adults for each group, from the time youths are dropped off until they are picked up. It is important to never let yourself be alone with a youth. One-on-one counseling sessions with minors require parental permission and should follow the open door policy. Showing movies and media is a great way to engage teens, but be sure to follow these guidelines. G and PG movies are fine. PG-13 and R-rated movies require permission from the youth director or pastor. Clips from PG-13 and R-rated movies are fine if incorporated into Bible study. In addition, make sure other forms of media are age-appropriate and conform to Lord of Life's mission and vision. Cell phones can be useful or distracting, depending on how they are used. So, team members should mute phones or use them on a very low volume setting. Use phones only in urgent situations or use in relation to an activity in progress, such as finding directions. Let's go over how to handle incidents and emergencies. For minor injuries, administer first aid. restrict physical activity if necessary, and complete an incident report. For serious injuries, separate the group from the injured person, use first aid, contact a Lord of Life staff member, send a teen if necessary, call 911 if the injury is life-threatening, and complete an incident report. Team members need to complete an incident report for all injuries and illnesses and return it to the youth director as soon as possible. In case of severe weather, move youth into the center of the room and keep the kids calm by maintaining a quiet and reassuring demeanor. If the fire alarm sounds, remove youth from immediate danger. Account for everyone in your group. Follow the evacuation route posted in your room or move to the nearest building exit. And remember to use the staircase, not the elevator. Transportation is something featured largely in youth events, so let's talk about some guidelines for transporting kids safely. All drivers must hold a valid driver's license, be at least 21 years old, have proof of insurance, not use a cell phone while driving, and not be under the influence of chemical substances while driving. Our final section covers how communications are handled. Team members are encouraged to communicate their ideas and concerns to any member of the Lord of Life staff. If you have an idea for an event or a way to improve on an existing program, please share it with us. Likewise, if you are experiencing a problem, you are encouraged to communicate your concern with the youth ministry director. The youth team uses email as their primary means of communication. Sunday school leaders will receive weekly emails containing information about upcoming events, lessons, schedules, and program information. Team members are encouraged to use email for communications that are not personal in nature, such as looking for a substitute for a particular Sunday. Because so much information is communicated via email, personal email addresses are generally made available to other members of a particular team or group. Urgent, time-sensitive information is best communicated face-to-face or via phone call or text. Because urgent information, such as an unplanned absence, is frequently communicated via phone, the personal phone numbers of Sunday school or other specific team members will be made available to other team members. Personal issues are best handled in person or with a phone call. That's it for the Youth Ministry Policy and Procedures segment of Safe Sanctuary Training. Thank you. Your participation is greatly appreciated.